Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for May 22nd through 29th, 2023. Wow, well, we're coming out of that powerful new moon in Taurus, and also a lot of shift and change as we come out. Mercury begins to come out of retrograde shadow. The main thing that we're feeling is a whole bunch of energies at 0 degrees of their sign. And this has been for the last few days since the 17th, when Jupiter moved over into the sign of Taurus. Now, Jupiter moved into Aries May of last year, now switching signs. So that started the Aries chapter, even though Jupiter retrograded back into Pisces last year as well. But now Jupiter will be staying in Taurus for the year, and it's a big shift of energy. So Jupiter at 0 degrees Taurus for these last few days has been an exact square to Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. Now, Jupiter is expansion, and moving into Taurus, it's about expansion of our wealth and our worth. But in square, there's always an energy of like, can't keep going that way. And literally, the message seems to be if we're really going to tip over into this new age of Aquarius, we can't take poverty consciousness with us. We also can't not appreciate and own our wealth, our energetic wealth, and leak it out. How can we be trusted with the powers of the universe that lie within us? That's our birthright. But we're not going to let ourselves really take back our power while we continue to leak out our energy or be loyal, feel in, these contractual arrangements that are keeping us loyal to lower vibrations. So this has been a huge energy. And all of these planets at 0 degrees, because we got the sun just moved in to 0 degrees today, Mars 0 degrees, Sun 0 degrees Gemini, Mars 0 degrees Leo, Pluto, of course, 0 degrees Aquarius, and Jupiter 0 degrees Taurus. So it's a lot of zeros. It's funny because I pulled some cards this morning, and the situation card, or the kind of first card, was the Fool reversed, and the Fool is the zero card, and that's pretty much where we are. Just like, because the Fool is ready to leap off of the cliff. He's just heading into the unknown. He's just blissed out in nature. He's got his animal friend. He's coming to the edge of the cliff. He's got total trust. And so it's that place of 0 point of all possibilities. And yet we're kind of been stuck there, and it's bringing doubt. These squares are bringing doubt. Like, are we really making progress, or are we in an endless paperclip loop of trauma and drama that we can never get out of? Because these squares always show us what's in the way of moving forward, because it's like, can't go that way anymore. So 90-degree turn is required. So let's talk this through, because Jupiter and Pluto, just still in exact square. Jupiter is now today moving to 1 degree Taurus, but still in this square and very powerful. So let's just talk about the Pluto-Jupiter square. We've been feeling this for the last few days, and it's a feeling of, with Mercury coming out of retrograde shadow, we're coming out of eclipse season, and it's Jupiter in a new sign. All of these planets are moving into new territories. Mars in a new sign, the sun in a new sign. It's like, all right, let's go. Let's tip over into and then these squares are like, oh, no, you don't. And especially in the fixed energy, even though it's 0 degrees, it's like, because the fixed is about becoming stable. And so we're trying to stabilize a new timeline. And that actually makes a lot of sense. It feels to ring true for what supernova souls have been going through. So take heart in that this is all about landing a new timeline. We've been cleansing and clearing all the things in our life that have been keeping us in that lower vibrational energy, keeping us in perhaps the timeline that isn't most ideal for us. And yet we're about to break through. There's definitely an energy of all this 0 degrees being about the threshold. just taking it to a new level. And yet there's bumping up against the ceiling. So we'll kind of explore that as we talk through these intense transits, like so powerful that all these planets are at 0 degrees today. And the relationship and the message that they're telling to us, because it all really has to do with Pluto. Because any square right now with Pluto is triggering the nodes of the moon. Pluto, not too far out, 3 degrees from the nodes of the moon in square. And the kind of epic culmination of this in the next few months, astrology, July, August, this incredibly powerful Pluto square the nodes of the moon. Pluto made it to Aquarius, retrograding back June, um, June 12th, Pluto will return to Capricorn. And so but as it returns to Capricorn, that's when the exact squares are with the nodes of the moon, just as the nodes of the moon are moving into the new signs. They're new signs. They go backwards though. So it's at 29 degrees, Aries, and Libra. So like we've got just Jupiter in a new sign, the nodes switching signs. The nodes moved into the current signs of Taurus and Scorpio in January of last year. So we've had this year and 4 or 5 months and now it'll be about 6 months, 7 months of this Taurus Scorpio energy. And so this eclipse season was a bloom of the energy of the nodes in these signs. And we're still feeling this because after this intense T square energies, both Mars and Jupiter will interact with the nodes of the moon. And it's just kind of like, you guys, pay attention. It's like, we get your ducks in a row, get your places, because now it's time to turn the corner on this shift. And what if we've been working on the shift for like hundreds of years? Right here at the corner, can you believe that? And we're here together, we found each other, and it's really freaking weird out there, but it feels good to know that we can no longer stand at this precipice place. This is part of the control energies want us to be in these loops of time and be in that paperclip trap. And but everything's always moving. Everything's always progressing. Yes, there's retrograde motion, but everything is always moving and expanding in the universe. We as humans in our spiritual evolution have been stuck in these loops of trauma and drama, preventing us from crossing that threshold for thousands of years. And it's gone on long enough now. We're tipping over. Nothing can stop it. And I think we can feel this. It's giving supernova souls some, kind of a little bit more levity and hope, just knowing that it's inevitable. These changes that we need to see and be a part of in this world to balance the scales for the reckoning, to bring justice, you know? So, let's talk this through. So we've got Jupiter at Taurus, 0 degrees, now has made it to 1 degree, and Jupiter expands. So it amplifies. And it's also a positive energy. So even in square, these last few days, it's been kind of glitchy. It might have triggered you in your core wounds. Because wherever you feel not worthy of your own abundance, because Jupiter is abundance, represents expansion, luck, money. And so in Taurus is our resources. So it's like, yeah, but we've been focusing so much on material wealth. The whole world is in poverty consciousness right now because of the games and the drama that the banking system have been perpetrating on us, the Babylonian money magic system for so long. And so it's like designed to keep us in the fear and scarcity, poverty for material resources. But in this reevaluation of wealth, we're finding that stack that shit up, that paper money is not worth anything actually real. And the most real wealth is this energetic wealth we have within us. Except for that, as we wake up to the energetic wealth, our place in the sun, our birthright is having a direct access to life force and source, cosmic consciousness, like right here in our own body. we're opening up to this. And then we're realizing that we've been allowing ourselves energetically to be farmed, not even realizing, like we didn't know, right? I mean, but literally what's been going on through the trauma drama loops, through the outward manipulation, through infestation of nanotechnology and implants and all kinds of manipulations we've gone through. It's all about, so maybe if we just look at the mechanism of nanotechnology, AI in the body, it is not life. It's dead. It has no energy of its own, right? And yet it appears lifelike. Okay, this is a powerful metaphor for what we're dealing with in the world right now. So, how does that self replicating, self assembling technology that's literally creating false neural networks in our body, attempting to, um, where does it get its energy? Oh, you know, it's a parasitic paradigm, and our whole world has been like this. And it's like since the 80s, our tax dollars in the US only been paying the interest payment, you know, on the debt. It's just a big lie. And the lie is the only thing that can keep the lie going is us not knowing who we are and owning back our energy. And that's exactly in the outside world too. Is if we have the free energy technology, then it's game over for that system. And so, what seems to be going on right now, it's like parasitic energies in our own body and energetically, emotionally, spiritually for supernova souls over lifetimes have been farming you because you are that wealthy. And it really sucks to wake up to this level of attack and targeting and being like, I've been feeding the monster. And you know how they get to, it's like the narcissist program, how they get to your wealth is they knock you down, right? And disempower you, disconnect your third chakra so they can tap in. And it's just like, so they've used our sensitivity or empathy again and again, where we're not able to say no, to just steal everything and suck us dry. So, um, we're waking up. And so then, but there's a very powerful energy because this seems to have to do with the whole threshold place that we're at. The 0 degrees is like a threshold, and supernova souls seem to be going up to the ceiling, experiencing powerful feelings of spirituality and joy that haven't been accessible for a long time. And then, boom, knocked back down into the lower vibrational realities. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. It's like, oh my God, are we going to break through the ceiling? Or are we going to just stay stuck in at 0 point upside down, with a full reverse forever? And the deal with the threshold place is the message that's come through is that what's required to overcome the threshold place is actually forgiveness. And can we step way, 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 way back after you go through your feeling of how in the heck could these forces want, be so evil and want to hurt me and humanity so much? How can that even be possible? And then the victimization, and then the righteous anger, and then the like, oh no, you do not have any right to my energy, all implants removed and complete release of the effect of nanotechnology. And so basically, at that place, we have to step after, we go through this realization and the deep grief and pain about how we've been trusted so much that we allowed this infestation in our actual field and body. And then there's a place of like, well, what's really going on there, right? And you step back, step back. Now, this is Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius. He's turned retrograde, but it's like Aquarius has this kind of like wanting to see the bigger picture of things and get a wider perspective, So then it's kind of like, well, what's up with this intensely negative control forces? Like I've had enough. Like, how do I even survive with these forces just messing with me at every turn? And it's like, yeah, that's where they want you, in survival mode. But are these forces just playing their role in the bigger scheme? Are they just doing their job? Because when we're done, we're done. And are you ready to be done? Are you worthy enough to be done with these games and to come really into your power? You can handle it. They don't want us to think we can handle it. It's part of the threshold place. Oh, this is dangerous, wrong, bad. And now the other message is that if you do push through that threshold place, you're all alone. Nobody else out there. Nobody else has made it that far. That's a big lie too, right? Because not only are your soulmates there, your supernova soul tribe, but you've also got incredibly powerful beings of light that are working in the prime directive of non-interference. And they're our brothers and sisters, and we can work more directly with them on the other side of the threshold. So, um, that's a very powerful program that keeps knocking us back down. And so there's this really interesting energy. And I know everybody's all about forgiveness. And if you can find forgiveness, then, that's what really it takes to move beyond. But for supernova souls, the energy of that is like, let me roll over and play dead and let you suck the life out of me again. you know? So we have to really change our thinking about this, because forgiveness, true forgiveness of all that's been done against us, can only come when we recognize that, oh, that's because we're really freaking powerful. And also, they're just playing their role. Everything. Okay, so there's forces working against spiritual ascension. These are the control energies holding humanity back so they can continue to feed on us. And then there's uh, this, um, and then sorry, lost my train of thought. The which also means is typically very important. Um, so anyway, we'll come back to it. And so we are learning to feel comfortable with our power and recognizing that everything that's worked against it ultimately only boomerangs and supports ascension. So there we go. And so then in that bigger picture, it's like, all right, I'm not taking this personally anymore. We got stuck in a personal story because we got killed in past lives, and then we were trying to accomplish some task, and we had some identity we were playing out. And then if you got killed in the middle of the energy of that passion, then the soul wants to come right back and get back to work on it. Except for your next incarnation, you're supposed to be a whole different identity, whole different thing. And we get really trapped in these old stories. And then we take it so personally when we are so attacked. It's hard not to. But these forces are just forces. Like, it's like they're little minions of the AI monster out there, just, wherever there's light trying to come, they're going to come mess with you. And it's nothing against you, but it's definitely against the light. And then we come to this place of like, oh, yeah, no, maybe I'm kind of scared of it. And I don't know. And in the threshold place, we get knocked back down. So where we're at in the 0 point is literally like turning that corner, flipping the scales, being like, human soul and body, highest authority. And they will not like give our energy back. We have to take it back, you know? It's like dealing with a narcissist and money. It's like once you give it to them, you're never going to get it back. And so we have to not engage in the battle, because the problem is that we've always engaged in the battle and then it drops us back down. And that seems to be this really bigger perspective that's available right now in this strange 0 point energy, to see the way, 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 way bigger picture and find the forgiveness for these forces, not in a rollover, okay, you win. Because that's the energy of forgiveness. It's totally distorted. I mean, the spiritual, it's just been, misused, misunderstood. is the message that's coming through. We have to need a new concept of forgiveness. It's about, I don't know, forgiveness. Like everything's just playing their role and we are a part of it. And once you're in that organism and you realize, and then you give yourself permission to break through that threshold, everything is going to change. So let's talk about this. So Jupiter square Pluto, Jupiter and Taurus, trying to expand into our abundance. Pluto, poise, our power, fear of our own power. Also, Pluto is the destroyer, the breaker down. Doesn't break down what's healthy and should continue. It breaks down the old patterns. It's kind of the wrecking ball. It's like the storm coming in and kind of leveling things. And so Jupiter expanding into wealth, true wealth, Pluto, it's like what systems have to be broken down in order to move over into the Aquarian age and owning our power. And that's Pluto moving back into Capricorn, the authoritarian structures of where we've given our power away. So everything's about this, right? And being like, wait, I didn't even know it was mine. And you guys are using it for dark agendas. And no effing way is this going to continue now that I see. And that vision takes me so far that it allows me to rise above and have forgiveness and know that it was all about releasing and receiving the abundance, taking back what's ours. And you're going to feel so good and you're going to feel so on your path and you're going to feel so invincible that you don't give a crap about that lower play of bullshit energy troll that's been harassing you for so long. It's like, oh yeah, well, that's just part of the pattern. Thank God I'm out of it. So this is what's available for us. And now, today, Mars moving into Leo. Mars loves the energy of Leo. It's called exalted because Mars is the ruler of Aries. And so Leo is the next fire sign. So it's like, oh yeah, this is comfortable at home. And Mars wants to move. Mars is our action planet. So when Mars comes into difficult transits, squares and oppositions, there's also often like a irritability, a frustration. You really want to watch Mars transits in traffic because people have a tendency to want to run over each other and not wait. And that's the Mars energy, right? It's like impatient and frustrated and irritable can be when they feel blocked. And we've been blocked for a long time, so it's understandable. So Mars. Oh yeah, Leo, yay. And then opposition with Pluto. And so Mars is our power, our lower power, our will, and our physical ability to move energy in the world. And then Pluto represents our psychic power, our energetic power. And so in these in opposition, it's very interesting because oppositions have tension, because it's like, oh yeah, coming up against each other. But then when they're exactly opposite, there's a mutual receptivity. It's very beautiful. So it's like kind of a connection can happen here with our higher and lower power, getting our third chakra back online with our higher spiritual agenda. And that what's required for that and what's in the way of that is the Jupiter T square in Taurus, expanding into our true wealth. So this T square is happening at 0 degrees. Now Jupiter's at 1 degree. So they're going to stay in this square, T square, as Mars is going to also begin to move. And so over the next few days, the square peaks out at the 21st or the 24th. And so this week is like, whoa. But with Jupiter there and this Mars Pluto opposition, there's this incredible opportunity for a breakthrough. And it's like, is that the threshold place? Because once enough of us are established in that other energy, it's just game over. You can already see it. Negative forces have continued to try to do negative creating, and it just isn't working. Our consciousness is not supporting it. And it's very powerful, recognizing the role supernova souls have played in this consciousness battle by doing your work and showing up and being who you are. Thank you so much. And you have not yet seen, this is what came through in the activation, the new moon activation, Taurus new moon activation was, we've done so much energetic work. I mean, you can feel it, you know, it's been a shit show. And we do not have one outside manifest proof yet of the work we've done. We have not yet started to see in this world the benefit of what we've done. And that's the next chapter, because Jupiter in Taurus is about manifestation and the filling out of form and incarnation, because Aries is the spark of life, right? It's like the seed getting activated, the sprout, the impulse. And then Taurus is the plant coming into form. So we're filling it out our reality. So take heart in the fact that we have not seen physically manifested, and we're so programmed to have that proof. And this can help us a lot right now, is that I feel the energetic proof. I don't need that external proof, because the more we can kind of hold out for that external proof, the more that external proof is going to be in alignment with what we really want to co-create in this world. So it's all about manifestation of the energetic potential of humanity and that true wealth within. And we lead the way, supernova souls. Thank God you're here. And thank you. So now, so Mars in the mix is just bringing this like a power battle with Pluto. And their opposition is exact today and tomorrow. So, but we'll be feeling that through this whole week. And Mars square Jupiter is exact on Tuesday, Wednesday, 23rd, 24th, and we'll feel that all the way to the end of the month. So these intense squares go all the way to the end of the month. And then June, very different energy, really beautiful, magical energy. So more about that coming up as we look at how to make the most of the month of June. So this brings me also to, we talked about how squares and tension transits are, you cannot avoid them. Energy just affects you, right? It's what we do with them with our will. But on the other hand, the positive transits that are supportive, you have to take advantage of those energies. You have to more align your will with those in order for them to work with you. And so the sun now moved over to Gemini today, powerful shift, Mars in Leo. That puts these guys 2 signs apart, 60 degrees. At 0 degrees, a sextile between the sun and Mars at 0 degrees. So totally changing the flavor of these squares. And 4 elements at 0 degrees. This is very, very unique and rare astrology. And so please know that these are incredibly powerful times we're living in. And it's kind of that picture of, it's hard to imagine when you're in your darkest days, but the souls lined up that wanted to come to Earth for this experience, and you get to be here. Oh yeah, it will be worth it. So the sun, who we are in Gemini, and Gemini poised for expression. Okay. And sun, the ruler of Leo. So the sextile is just this alchemical, beautiful activation of it's like Gemini's an air sign and it's about communication. And then Leo is a fire sign about expression. So like communicating and expressing the light that we are. That's how we have the breakthrough. It's the only way forward. Well, wait a minute, because every time we express this light and this spiritual truth in the past, we got killed or something, and it was horribly traumatic. So here we are at the threshold place. We have to overcome all of the fear programming and authority contracts, and we can't find those till we begin to move into our higher faculties, right? So that sextile is very, very helpful, saying that the breakthrough comes when we start to express our truth spiritually and with vibrations, our light through vibrations. And so There's also a very harmonious situation with the sun today at 0 degrees Gemini in trine to Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius, so an air trine. And the air trine energy is speaking to the new renaissance. This next 200 to 240-year period is a new renaissance astrologically because the Saturn conjunct Jupiter transit that happens every 20 years will be happening in air signs. So there's a whole new vibrational energy, and this Renaissance energy has a picture of putting back all the pieces of our fragmented society, where we separated art and nature and science and religion and spirit. And it's like, no, 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 no. They're all the same. And the only reason we were able to be fed the false science and the false history is because of that compartmentalization, because of that separation. And we're going to be bringing it all back together, that everything we build in this world is in alignment with nature and beauty and love and an integration of the arts and sciences back together kind of thing. And a lot of creative expression. So supernova souls are kind of like, it's like, okay, a lot of this Taurus energy, this retrograde, can you get yourself in a position to take care of yourself enough, to ground out enough, to get creative and to be ready to offer your creative pursuits? Because that's the energy that's coming. So right after this square lets off, or as Jupiter comes out of square with as Mars comes out of square with Jupiter later in the week, Friday, Saturday, next weekend, Mars will be in square to the nodes of the moon. Now, this is really important because as these planets begin to move, they're coming into relationship to the nodes of the moon. That's triggering the south node in Scorpio and making this not just a T square, a fixed T square, but a grand fixed cross. A grand fixed cross is like boom, it's like an imprint, it's a landing, it's an incarnation, it's a new path, but establishing a new path. And it's kind of having a resolute determination of reality. And I think that's a really good message for us, that we need to just 24/7 vigil to bring ourselves back to center, present time, and recognize that the forces that are trying to interfere right now are so stirred up and activated and chaotic on the astral plane. We have to just be incredibly determined to bring our energy back to where we have our power, which is in the present moment and in that center way. Feel the forces want to pull us in different directions all the time. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be here. And supernova souls finding that strength within to say no to the forces that want to derail you. But where we've been so nice and again, because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, we don't want to, um, cause any problems. And so we'll just appease and we'll go along with it. And it's like, a warrior in you is being born. And that's definitely the energy of Mars here poised at 0 degrees Leo. Like the lion is ready to roar. So when Mars comes into that square with the nodes of the moon next weekend, end of the week, um, it's like kind of a culmination of this whole square because Pluto's still not too far out at 0 degrees. And so we've also got then Jupiter will be also this week at 1 to 2 degrees. And so that they're still all in this T square, and the Sun and Mars will continue that sextile through the end of the month as well. And the Sun trine Pluto for this week. And so this is kind of a culmination of this whole square when Mars comes into square with the nodes of the moon, because the nodes of the moon, Taurus, Scorpio, how are we going to get to where we're going? What's holding us back from the past? And Mars in Leo wants to finally express and go, move, and build with the light again. And so then it has that energy of like the nodes being like, oh no, because you know what? You don't feel worthy of it. You keep giving it away. You keep treating yourself like garbage, you know? Like what needs to change within supernova souls to get us to be like, oh yeah, now we must contain our light and energy. If we're leaking it out to lower energies, we cannot cross the threshold. And so we're being shown. And this is exactly this energy. Now it brings up the south node in Scorpio. We only have a couple more months of this energy, and it's hidden, it's dark, but it's deep, it's meaningful. It's what's keeping us from a life of purpose, which is the main problem for supernova souls. The main grief, the main energy is like this feeling like I'm not doing what I'm here to do. It's because you are laden with wealth. You have so much within you, and it's starting to eat away at your psyche because you're not sharing it with the world. Sun, 0 degrees Gemini, sextile Mars, 0 degrees Leo. Are we going to break through and shine our light? Or are we going to let the fear programming authority contracts continue to knock us back down into the lower timelines? You know? So this is what's on the table. Now, Jupiter comes to a conjunction with the North Node next week, on 31st of May and June 1st. That's right when Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow and these squares resolve. So it's like this culmination, Mars square the nodes, a grand fixed cross. Do you get to go to the Aquarian age or not? And then when Jupiter comes in, it's like it's all resolving and coming off, and it's going to be a big squeeze, but also the opportunity for that breakthrough of what you've been working on for lifetimes. Then Jupiter goes and meets up with the North Node, and Jupiter expansion in the sign of Taurus, wealth, money, abundance, possibilities. And so that is, and then the North Node is how are we going forward? And so it's like, boom, that's our new direction. Oh, yeah. And I can own my wealth because I can see where to put it now. And I understand what she means by this inner energetic wealth. And I'm ready to own it back from everywhere I've given it away so that I can move forward now, finally, you know? So, and that's really interesting because it's like, that's like kind of fits the energy of June. It's like blessings and miracles and mystical possibilities, a portal to new earth. Incredible energy. So I'll do a video just on the energy of June to kind of go through all those concepts. But then, right, what happens just real quick at the beginning of June is very, very powerful because we talked about how Mercury made it to 15 degrees of Taurus before turning retrograde. And at that point, Uranus was at 17 degrees. So almost a conjunction with Uranus, higher in the lower mind, and then boom, Mercury retrograde. So it's very powerful. We've been talking about this first week of June when Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow, makes it back to that conjunction with Uranus. But it's really interesting because just before that, at the end of the month, we're already feeling this asteroid Vesta. Vesta is the ruler of the sacred inner flame. It's our spiritual and creative passions and purpose. And it's kind of like that sacred flame that never goes out, that may be dimmed and hidden within us, but it's an activation of our sacred purpose. With Vesta coming up to Uranus, because Uranus is higher frequency vibration. It's like everything we want to embody, but we haven't been able to. Represented, the ruler of Aquarius represents what this next age is about. It's about higher technology, our technology in our very own body. And that's the only way that we get out of the trap of the AI agenda. And it's very powerful, Vesta coming in. And now this, so I said, yeah, so the 29th and 30th of May, Vesta and Uranus. So it's like an activation of our inner fire, inner passion and purpose. How perfect. On the heels of Jupiter North Node conjunction. Then on the 5th of June is when Mercury makes it back to its conjunction with Uranus. And so Mercury Uranus will feel that whole first week of June, and it's like, like activating energies and having to do with embodiment of higher frequency vibrations because it's in Taurus, Uranus, higher frequency vibrations, spiritual passion. It's like putting the pieces together, clearing out the implants and crap that's been in the way, and kind of being like, all right, we're hooking up our circuitry. everything in June is pointing to an opportunity for a Kundalini awakening. And Venus, so the other thing we're feeling in the intense squares this week is that Venus is in Cancer, and that means Venus is coming up to a square with Chiron in Aries. And this is like the knockdown battle. Chiron is at 18 degrees, so 18-degree square here, and it's a knockdown, drag out battle for our life force. Venus feeling nurtured and supported in the sign of Cancer and ready to face her oppressors. Everywhere that the feminine has been knocked down, abused, used, sucked dry, and discarded, and that's in each of us. Whether we're in a male body or a female body, our feminine within has been treated this way. So a lot of times it's about our intuition and these past lives where we've been mistreated because of our light, because of our healing, because of our intuition. And so this is a very powerful energy where Venus is like, all right, because Chiron is our deepest wounds and that feeling of abuse and coming to like a life and death situation extreme, it's like where we've given up our life or our freedom in order to keep the peace or stay safe or keep our family safe or community safe. But ultimately we were always left completely alone. And now they use that to keep us in the threshold, this fear of being completely alone. And yet you're only alone when you're in the threshold because that's the only place that we have to do by ourselves, Very interesting energy because Chiron has this deep and profound loneliness around if you're going to go your own way and claim your freedom and your individuality, then you're going to be going your own way. So we're on working these patterns and these programs, a very deliberate program in Supernova Souls that if you initiate or ascend or pass that threshold point, you'll be all alone, and that's not true at all. So that's what Venus is facing here. Just this, she's exhausted from the battle, but it's actually kind of an energy of getting out of the battle, right? Because she only needs to battle until she takes her life force back, right? And so in Cancer, it's about the battle for the what's good and right and true and nurturing and supports life, And the other thing around this whole agenda, the only way it could really happen is that we had to degrade the feminine in order to create a disconnection from nature and Mother Earth and Source in order for this agenda to take place. So Venus is fighting for her connection to the mother and the connection to life force. And she's had enough of it. So it's like this, and it's so powerful that both our feminine and masculine signs are in intense squares. I mean, Mars with Jupiter and Pluto and the south node of the moon in a fixed T-square or fixed cross. And then Venus in Cancer, square Chiron and Aries. Those are cardinal signs. So it's about instigating, starting something new. And that's actually a really good energy of like fighting the knockdown, drag out fight to finally take all your power back and not get triggered back in it again. The triggers are running away. Are running out, falling away. They can only trigger us until we don't have triggers. So that's part of the threshold place too. So that Venus square Chiron is really intense, and that's exact on the 25th. And so it's kind of like right when the T square and Mars coming into the square of the nodes, and it's like, oh, because this is all triggering the Pluto square the nodes, and it's like fate, destiny, there's no way around it. It's like careening into that corner turn, and are you going to be able to make it? So ground out, radical self-care, still with all this Taurus energy, really, really important to take care of ourselves, to create a space that we can receive that Christ consciousness, that we can embody this light, to make a sacred space, build that manger, that place, that cradle to receive the light, the true light of who you are. And by taking extremely good care of yourself and loving yourself as that spiritual light and celebrating that as you become the overflowing cup. That's a demonstration to all what we're really doing here. And so Venus then next week, so after these squares resolve, on the 3rd of June, Venus will come into a trine with Neptune. And this is like the dream. Okay, Venus in Cancer, feminine, being nurturing the feminine, back to in a new picture, rewriting the stories of the Piscean age, claiming back the mystical miracles of the Piscean age. It's a very beautiful energy to move into June, especially with the Vesta Uranus activation. So activation of our higher path and purpose, and activation of our higher and lower mind with Mercury and Uranus, an embodying of these higher frequency vibrations, and an activation of the dream of what's possible. So, really powerful energy. And in June, the second week of June, we'll be feeling Ceres, asteroid goddess Ceres, connected to the earth, the energy of earth, and the mother, and providing, and all it really fits the energy of Taurus. In Pisces, coming up to Neptune. So it's the dream of New Earth. It's Mother Earth's dream that we're all a part of. You know, supernova souls, we've been shown again and again that we were there at the beginning of this evolution energetically. We were a part of it. And we know we have encoded within us in our DNA the Gaia codes, what Mother Earth is going to become. And we're a part of her body, and we're doing it with her. You know, we're ascending and activating. So it tells you what June is about, the dream of New Earth, and an activation of that dream, and a breakdown of the delusions that have kept her in darkness. Wow, incredibly powerful time. So let's stay connected and know that this is so intense, but it's that opportunity for a breakthrough. So just stand strong and come into your center and face, don't run, face what's happening, because this is your ticket out. And it's been long enough now. We're doing it together. So we'll be coming up. There's a big marker. This is a huge marker. And then as this all resolves and we move into June, we've got the full moon in Sagittarius at 13 degrees, Sagittarius, 18 minutes. And so coming right at them about, coming to the middle of the sign and right in the middle. And it's very powerful to have this right on the heels of that Vesta Uranus, because when Mercury comes to meet up with Uranus, it will also hit Vesta too. And so we'll have Mercury, Vesta, Uranus, higher mind, lower mind, and incredibly spiritual activation of our passions and purpose. And so that's right at the Sagittarius full moon. And Sagittarius, we haven't had a lot of Sagittarius energy this year. And Sag is about seeing beyond the horizon and expanding into new knowledge and growth and travel and purpose and path, the hero's journey, feeling like you're on your way, right? And it's been so long since we've been feeling this. And so Sagittarius carries for where planets you have there in house placements and stuff, the Sagittarius energy for supernova souls can often bring a deep longing for that, and grief around getting off of your spiritual path and purpose and not doing what you're here to do, kind of thing. But this activation says, well, get ready, because now it's happening. This opening up, we're landing home. This Christ consciousness, we're cementing in a new timeline, heading in a new direction. And so first we have to get through this breakthrough, square, tension, drama, play out of the darkest trap, in order to see that light at the end of the tunnel. So stick with it, be present, keep loving yourself, keep taking care of yourself, and remember that we are progressing. This is all about progressing through and moving forward, even though it doesn't feel like it, because we are stuck at 0 point. What? Nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing can stop you from coming into your power. You're in charge. And we've already done this before. It's nothing to be scared of. And that's the memories that we're unlocking in our psyche. Maybe with this activation, this cementing in a new path really has to do with uncovering who we really are in our power in that Scorpio South Node. So then we go and examine Pluto going back into retrograde, where we gave that power away, where we might still have contracts, and where humanity says, we're not going to let you rape and pillage us anymore. You know, we're going to do it a different way. We're going to stand up and throw off these controllers, you know? And so we'll see how that plays out. And thank you for being here, Supernova Souls, playing the role that you're playing. And you don't even realize how powerful you are and what you've done. And I can't wait to see that manifest for us as we head into this new chapter. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for your support. Remember that if you want to get that Friday update and a bunch of support for Supernova Souls, Supernova Soul Tribe, $10 a month. And then the Soul Tribe Gold, $20 a month, gets you into the activations and sharing circles. Very powerful time for connecting for Supernova Souls. So consider those options. Very powerful way to be involved and to get the support you need in these intense times, and support the greater work that's happening here. But just you being here, being in the energy, coming, bringing your time and presence is a very powerful offering of your incredible wealth. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. May we find that wealth and celebrate that wealth in this intense time of activation and breakthrough. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Stay.